programs until the country was returned to civil rule. Mr. Jammeh claimed the suspension of 8 programs amounted to neo-colonialism. In the aftermath of the coup, Mr. Jammeh, governed by decree alongside 4 other junior officers and several civilians, banned all political activity, arrested 2 socialist journalists, and detained several of his army superiors. He also confined ministers of Mr. Jawari's government to house arrest.
As the situation in the country is already known to everyone out there, given the current security state of our country, it is indeed very important at this moment to inform every individual within this country about what is happening and why. A peaceful takeover from the PPP regime took place yesterday, the 22nd of July, 1994. The PPP government has been overthrown and an Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council headed by Lieutenant Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh has been instituted. The reasons for this takeover are basically that the PPP government was supposed to be democratic and accountable, but this was never the case, as there has never been an independent electoral commission. There was rampant and outrageous corruption to a scale that the nation's coffers were looted by few individuals who, for the past 3 decades, made sure that they remain at the top. Misuse of public funds and embezzlement of the state machinery for private ends was the order of the day. The majority of Gambians are poorer today than they were in 1965, and only a few Gambians, obviously at the top at all times, live in flamboyant lifestyles and have everything at the detriment of the majority. This action is taken to rescue the dear motherland from the strangle grip of a corrupt and undemocratic system, and not against any foreign country. The Gambia.
On October 17 that year, Mr. Jammeh announced that there will be a 4-year transition to civilian government. In November 1994, the same month when Mr. Jammeh was formally promoted to the rank of captain, there was an unsuccessful coup attempt by several disaffected young officers, leading to numerous deaths, but Mr. Jammeh remained in power. The National Consultative Committee, NCC, was appointed on 7 December to review the transition process, and when they reported on 27 January 1995, they recommended a 2-year transition period. The same day as the NCC's report, 2 of the original coup leaders, Sabali and Haidara, launched an unsuccessful attempt to overthrow Mr. Jammeh as chairman. Subsequently, Tingate was appointed as vice chairman of the AFPRC, and Haidara died in prison on 3rd June. Mr. Jammeh was re-elected as president in 2001, 2006, and 2011.
You have not only spoken through the ballot box, but have also projected your resolve, will, and conviction to channel the progress and development of our motherland through me, by extension, my government. The 72% votes cast for me out of a monumental voter turnout of 80% on a free, fair, and transparent electoral process is a decisive and convincing victory by all standards. Never before had Gambians turned out in such record numbers to freely, peacefully, and orderly exercise their franchise to elect a president. In view of this, allow me to record special thanks to my dear mother, my wife and family, my government, and the massive APRC stalwarts and supporters, as well as all Gambians who contributed to making this joyous moment a reality. To our 2 friends and brothers and sisters in the international community who have sent messages of solidarity, support, and prayers before, during, and after the elections, I say a big thank you. May the Almighty Allah guide, protect, and reward you all.
I lost to Mr. Adama Barrow in 2016.
Finally, you to wish you all the best. The Gambian people have spoken, and I have no reason to contest the will of the Almighty Allah. Hello? Are you hearing me? I wish you all the best. The country will be in your hands in January, and you are assured of my guidance on your transition. I don't mean selecting who as member of government, but you have to work with me as I plan to go to Canada, so I hand over the state house to you. You are the elected president of the Gambia, and I wish you all the best. I have no ill will, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
And you also, for all the hard work you did for 22 years.
Thank you.
You continue from where you started.
Thank you.
And somehow, if you need any advice, if you need any area, we will always consult you.
Thank you. Though I'll be a farmer in Canada.
I mean,
Pardon?
I'm here with my team.
Convey my congratulations to your entire team.
Thank you very much.
This is transparent. This is the will of Allah, and as a Muslim, I accept it. In good faith, the Gambian people have chosen you. After 22 years, I'm grateful to the Almighty Allah for that. I remember I came on a Friday, 22nd of July, and if I lost on Friday, the 2nd of December. No, it's not the 22nd, but the 2nd of December. Allah is telling me that my time is up, and I hand over graciously with gratitude to the Gambian people and gratitude to the Almighty Allah to you.
Thank you very much. I think this Friday are speaking in the Gambia.
Yes.
I was one of the Fridays.
What date?
15th February 1965.
1965.
1965, yes.
So you were born before independence.
Yes.
So you are a few months older than me. All the best. But I think that's why they didn't call you old pa. I wish you all the best, Mr. Barrow. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you have my full support. Let us make sure that you work towards maintaining peace and stability. Because without peace and stability, let me make it clear, you cannot achieve anything anywhere in Africa. I wish you all the best.
His time in office saw the authoritarian oppression of anti-government journalists, LGBTQ people, and opposition parties. His foreign policy led to a constantly strained relationship with the sole neighboring country of Senegal. In 2013, Mr. Jammeh withdrew the Gambia from the Commonwealth of Nations, but the Gambia later rejoined on 8 February 2018 under Adama Barrow, and in 2016, he began the process of withdrawing aid from the International Criminal Court and later rescinded by the Barrow government. Mr. Jammeh is accused of having stolen millions of dollars from the country's coffers to fund a life of luxury, which he denies. After leaving office, his assets were frozen by many countries, and he went into exile in Equatorial Guinea.
If Jammeh has any claim to title, he should come forward with that claim. But as far as we are concerned, these vehicles, these properties were purchased with state resources. They rightly belong to the state.
Constitutional Review Commission was appointed in April 1995 and reported to the government in November 1995. The report was published in March 1996 and was put to a national referendum on 8 August 1996. The new constitution, which provided for multi-party elections, an unlimited number of 5-year presidential terms, and a lowering of the voting age from 21 to 18, was approved by a majority of 70%.
On behalf of the Constitutional Review Commission, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Commission's first press conference. There is no doubt that the success of the Commission's public consultation processes will ultimately rest on the credible, ethical, factual, sincere, and fair reporting of the media. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are the anchor and platform on which most of the Commission's work will rest in communicating with the general public and our citizens. That is why we deemed it appropriate to make our first public entry through the gateways of the media. We have therefore invited you here today to share with you progress about the work of the Commission to date, some of the challenges, and the way forward to ensure that the review process is characterized by a high level of participation and inclusiveness that will promote citizenship and ownership of the new constitution we have been mandated to draft. Therefore, we wish to use this opportunity to request that you consider dedicating part of your space and airtime, if you can, to covering and highlighting the activities and programs of the constitutional review exercise. To that effect, the Commission has engaged in a wide range of issues related to logistics, such as the establishment of the Secretariat, development of a work plan for the Commission, mapping out the communication strategy, developing modalities for public consultations with various stakeholders, developing a monitoring and evaluation strategy, as well as other relevant aspects that will enrich the process to make it inclusive for all layers of Gambian society. Other staff of the Secretariat will be appointed to assist the work of the Commission. The expected outcomes of the Commission's work are twofold. Firstly, a draft constitution to be presented to the President of the Republic. And secondly, a report in relation to the draft constitution, which will include the processes adopted by the Commission in developing the new constitution and the rationale for the provisions enshrined in the constitution.
Mr. Jammeh won the 1996 presidential elections as the APRC candidate, winning 56% of the vote and beating Hussein Dabo, Ahmad Bah, and Sidi Ajata. Mr. Dabo was forced to seek refuge in the Senegalese embassy in Banjul, fearing an assassination plot. In the 1997 parliamentary election, the first with the new National Assembly put in place by the 1996 Constitution, the APRC won a majority of seats. However, these two elections, the first following the transition from military to civilian rule, were marred by provisions of the new doctored constitution, an electoral commission appointed by Mr. Jammeh alone in 1995, and a political network that included the Green Boys, a now disbanded vigilante group that was mobilized to intimidate the electorate to ensure Mr. Jammeh's victory. Foreign observers did not deem these elections free and fair. He was re-elected on 18th October 2001 with about 53% of the vote. This election was also generally deemed free and fair by observers, despite some very serious shortcomings ranging from overt government intimidation of voters to technical innovations such as raising the required deposit to stand for election by a factor of 25 to distort the process in favor of the incumbent regime. Mr. Jammeh ran for a third term in the presidential election held on 22nd September 2006. The election was initially planned for October, but was moved forward because of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. He was re-elected with 67.3% of the vote and was declared the winner of the election. The opposition candidate, Hussein Dabo, finished second, as in 2001. In November 2011, Mr. Jammeh was again re-elected as president for a fourth term in office. Reportedly, having received 72% of the popular vote, in December 2015, Mr. Jammeh banned female genital mutilation (FGM) in the Gambia, labeling the practice as having no place in Islam or in modern society. Anyone that ignored the ban would face a prison sentence of up to 3 years. After the end of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr in July 2016, Mr. Jammeh further announced a ban on child marriages. In 2016, some 30% of women were married off while under the age of 18. President Yahya Jammeh's response was that anyone caught marrying a girl under 18 years of age would be jailed for up to 20 years. In January 2007, Mr. Jammeh claimed he could cure HIV, AIDS, and asthma with natural herbs. His claimed treatment program includes instructing patients to cease taking the antiretroviral drugs. His claims have been criticized for promoting unscientific treatment that could have dangerous results, including the infection of others by those who thought they had been cured by the method.
They have a few months to live. There are people who come in very bad condition, lying down there, knowing that they have only have their hope in me. It's a big body, morally, spiritually, and psychologically. So it's not something that anyone would do just for fun or just for mischief. I'm not a president that makes mischief in the world.
Human Rights Watch found that the Gambian security services most frequently implicated in abuses were the National Intelligence Agency (NIA), the paramilitary junglers, and the Serious Crimes Unit, and the Police Intervention Unit of the Gambian Police Force. The junglers, an unofficial unit of up to 40 personnel, largely drawn from the Presidential Guard, was most frequently implicated in serious abuses, carrying out the most egregious crimes. Notable among them was ordering the killing of about 50 West African migrants in 2005. The victims included 44 Ghanaians, 10 Nigerians, 2 Senegalese, 3 Ivorians, and one Togolese who were killed because the security forces feared they were mercenaries coming to try to oust Mr. Jammeh. Ahead of the 2016 presidential election, a number of opposition members, including United Democratic Party leader Mr. Hussein Odabo, were sentenced to 3 years in jail for staging pro-democracy protests. In a public address, Mr. Jammeh called members of the opposition opportunistic people supported by the West, adding that he would bow to only Allah and his mother. As Mr. Jammeh left the Gambia in 2017 January, Barrow stated that a Truth and Reconciliation Commission would be appointed to investigate any possible crimes committed by Mr. Jammeh. Mr. Barrow cautioned that the commission wouldn't prosecute Mr. Jammeh, but only investigate the alleged crimes.
Your Excellency, after your victory, events took a different turn, necessitating even you stay in this country and so on and so forth. But reports yesterday indicate, or early this morning indicate that finally your predecessor has agreed to finally leave the scene. What's your reaction, sir?
I've agreed to leave the scene because you have no other option. All international bodies, because the AU, UN, still stand. Cannot carry the whole world. If power was their ultimate. Condition that you live. In peace as 67 years. We are happy that for South at the African level, good for Africa, good for the world. We set a very good example. Basically.
West African leaders did not guarantee any form of immunity to Mr. Jammeh. The United Nations, African Union, and ECOWAS declared that any country offering refuge to him or his family would not be punished, and he would be free to return to his country in the future. The statement added that it would work with the government of the Gambia to make sure that assets and properties legally belonging to him or his family, cabinet members, government officials, or party supporters would not be seized. Mr. Jammeh later left the Gambia for Equatorial Guinea, where he allegedly lives in a mansion in the village of Mongomo.
Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki was born on 15th November 1931 and passed on 21st April 2022. He was a Kenyan politician who served as the third president of Kenya from December 2002 until April 2013. He had previously served as the fourth vice president of Kenya for 10 years, from 1978 to 1988, under President Daniel Arap Moi. Mr. Mwai Kibaki also held cabinet ministerial positions in the Jomo Kenyatta and Daniel Arap Moi governments, including as Minister for Finance 1969 to 1981 under President Kenyatta and Minister for Home Affairs 1982 to